if you can't tell, like I still don't quite have my voice, and I wasn't at the game. That's how much fun we were having during the game while we were watching it at the wedding, and then after the game was over, and then the band's still rocking and rolling, and the bar's open, which was quite good. So it was awesome, and the Tigers slay the dragon in Tiger Stadium for the first time in 12 years since LSU had beaten Alabama, and it just look on Instagram, like look on your TikTok or whatever, look at your text messages from Saturday and Sunday, like it just, not to steal the SEC's, but it just means more to beat them. They are the bully. They have owned us. They have brought so much misery over the last 15 years, whether it's the elation that we felt in 2011 winning, only to have them come back and embarrass us in the Superdome. And then you come back in 2012, which may be the most intense I've ever personally seen Tiger Stadium, and you're playing in that game and you feel like you've got it won and they break your heart again. Leonard Fournette goes over there with the undefeated team and the Heisman front runner, and they just get smoked over there. You just consistently have gotten beat by this team. And yeah, it's fun to beat Florida. And yeah, we love to beat Auburn. And that's all well and good, whatever goes on at the end of the season with A&M. This one is different. And the just absolute outpouring of emotion that went on at the wedding venue I was at, in Tiger Stadium, in your homes, in the bars, wherever you were watching that game, it just feels different to beat these guys.
No, it is. And you kind of know that stranglehold they've had on this program. And really, you had the case. It was a rival, especially early on in that Les Miles era. We kind of know all the emotions every fan had here for Saban when he took that job. And you're going back and forth with those guys, and then they just kind of took the lap, and they kept lapping you, and you just really couldn't compete, especially in Tiger Stadium, against them at a high level. And so you can just feel the emotions from before the kickoff was even started. You know, all the people there, the celebrities there, just everything going on in that atmosphere. And to see that team come out and battle, I thought to start the game the way they did was so important, and not allow Bama to score early and just keep that crowd in it. It's one of the loudest times I've ever heard in that stadium. Everyone from beginning to ending of that game was just in it, and they knew what was at stake, and you could feel that. And to see Coach Kelly go for their third at the end, I think really put a great exclamation point on why everyone kind of shows up to LSU and why we have such a great fan base, because it's the moments you live for that are those moments that ended that game.
It's a special place. LSU is a special place. That stadium is special, and you know we're in the middle of it. We've got bias, we've got emotional ties to it, but when it's like it was on Saturday, that's why it garners the reputation that it does. And then you've got Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler getting on a plane and talking about it for 15 minutes. And you got Ryan Russillo on his podcast today talking about him coming once again, and he was down there on the field. You've got Shaq in the house. Like it's a special, special place. There are people in Baton Rouge and nationally that will say Tiger Stadium is the greatest place in all of college football. You know, that's a little bit subjective, and they're all pretty good. I've seen the places in this Southeastern Conference at their best. It's loud and it's great. But Tiger Stadium's up there with all of them. And on Saturday, you got every box check that you needed for that great environment. It was awesome from the start, according to every single person that was there. And you see the absolute jubilation at the end when LSU goes for two. I'll tell you the story. We're down. I was watching basically the entire game on my phone. I never missed a play, but I was watching on my phone. I was at one of those cocktail tables by the dance floor, and I'm looking at my phone, and one of my buddies comes over, and she says, hey, they're watching downstairs in the bar, just come down. So I walk down to the bar in the venue, and there's 30 people down there in this room watching the game. I think all of them but two were LSU fans. And I knew one of the Alabama fans I knew. And so, you know, we're watching, we're grinding. It's the last like 6 minutes of game time plus overtime. We're down there in watching the game. And Daniels breaks it off and scores. And I'm standing there, and there's like 5 or 6 guys that are kind of that we're talking back and forth, and I didn't say a word when he scored. I just held up 2 fingers. It's like, you got to go. You have to go for 2 here. Yeah. Brian Kelly did it. At that point, you have a quarterback who is a nightmare on the move from 2.5 yards out, and guess what? Their quarterback can go grab his helmet because he's not playing anymore. And I don't need to watch him play anymore, quite frankly. He is so good. It is that touchdown he made in the fourth quarter almost made me cry. But I said, you got to go for 2. And Brian Kelly calls a 2-point play. And everybody knew what the call was going to be. You're going to roll Daniels to the right and give him the run-pass option. And Taylor came open immediately. And he made the throw, made the catch. And obviously everybody comes pouring out. But Brian Kelly had to go for two there. I said in the Superdome, kick the extra point. You're playing these guys straight up. Your offense is moving the football. Let's play some more. I'm ready to roll. In this instance, I don't want Bryce Young coming back on that football field, stay on the sideline. And you saw Brian Kelly, if you've seen the video, he calls to go for two. They get the play in. And Brian Kelly just takes his headset off, unhooks it, hands it to somebody. That's it. No, he's just a fan, just sitting there watching. And it was absolutely the right call to go for two there.
Yeah, on the sideline, I was just going through an emotional roller coaster at the time, so I don't think I was thinking properly. I was right there seeing Bryce make three guys miss, launch a strike to a guy wide open, and then we go back down the field. We get the PI call. We score the touchdown. I'm like, oh, my goodness, he's about to drive and do it again. Sets up the field goal. I'm watching the field goal come off his foot. I'm like, oh, he doinked it. Like, there's no way that has enough juice, and it just literally barely carries over. So by the time I got to overtime, my emotions, I wasn't even thinking properly. So when JD scored, he scored probably 2 yards in front of me. I'm like, okay, all right, it's not stopping our offense, but we're not stopping them. Like, what do we do? And then I see them on the field, and I see they got 12 players on. So I was like, why aren't we snapping? At least snap the ball and get it
free
off.
Play.
But, free play. But just having the guts to call that, and like you said after the game, if someone told me you got one play to beat Alabama, and it's
2.5 yards.
Yeah, it's 2.5 yards to beat Alabama. You're going to take it. So I thought, for Coach Kelly to really, in that moment with everything at stake, you just kind of know, it's the season for both teams. Like LSU, I think, have an opportunity to go to Atlanta. We know what Alabama does. That avenue for them to still go to the college football playoff was wide open. And to go for it all right there and have a play drawn up that was just perfectly executed, I thought it was huge for everyone. You could see the emotions, right after he scores that touchdown, the place erupted.
And it's just, like I said at the top, it's like it's that coach, it's that program, and just the amount of absolute agony they have put LSU through over the last 15 years. I remember very vividly being very young, very, very dumb, and drunk, and thinking in my head in 2008 when Saban comes to Baton Rouge, even though they were undefeated, I think they were number one in the country at the time, and LSU was struggling. It was the pick six year. I was like, he's never going to win in this stadium. We're never going to allow him to come in here and beat us. And then he beat us in 8, and beat us in 12, and beat us in 14, and beat us in 16, beat us in 18, embarrassed us in 20. And it just was like, oh, maybe we won't ever beat him again. And these guys came together. Nothing fluky about it. Nothing by chance. They just straight up outplayed Alabama and beat them on the last play of the game. And for this program to be in position to do that at this point is remarkable.
Thanks so much for watching Hunt and Hill on YouTube.
Now do us a favor. Hit the red subscribe button below and throw us a like. We'll see you next time.